Presenting
The Complete
Orson Welles
and the Mercury Theater on the Air in The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells.
This is Orson Welles, speaking from London.
as the third man.
Stand by.
We'll be on the air in 15 seconds, Mr. Wells. May I stand up?
Stand by, everybody.
Mercury Theater on the Air presents Orson Welles as Count Dracula in his own version of Bram Stoker's great novel,
Who knows
Dracula.
what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
Welcome to the second installment of The Complete Orson Welles. Before I get started, let me say whatever podcast service you are using, I'm on all the major ones: Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and so on, and still adding more. If you want to stay up to date on any of my podcasts, click the subscribe button to be notified when a new episode is posted. Subscribing is completely free and helps me know how I'm doing. Alright, I am posting Orson's 7-part series of Les Misérables, which aired in 1937. This is one of his earliest radio productions. This post, and for the next couple weeks, I will double up the episodes into one post, so we can get through this series and move on to his more diverse work from 1938 and beyond. However, I want to stick to posting in chronological order, so we'll get through 1937 first. Les Mis was a novel from Victor Hugo, and this production is the start of Orson's Mercury Theater on the Air productions. This first episode, Javert, is followed by The Trial. Javert stars Agnes Moorehead, Betty Gard, Hiram Sherman, Alice Frost, Ray Collins, Martin Gable, and of course Orson. It aired April 30th, 1937.
So long as these problems are not solved, so long as ignorance and poverty remain on earth, these words cannot be useless.
These words open the second of 7 broadcasts based on Victor Hugo's unforgettable work, Les Misérables. WOR and the Mutual Network present Orson Welles, distinguished young author, actor, and director, in an adaptation of this novel which he has made especially for radio. Mr. Welles plays the role of Jean Valjean, and he is also heard reading from the book itself as he binds together the dramatic action. Each broadcast unfolds a moving chapter in the progress of Valjean. Last week, we pictured the meeting of Jean Valjean with the bishop and the regeneration of his tormented soul. Les Misérables, Part 2, the episode which is called Javert.
(1817). Napoleon was at St. Helena. A thing which smoked and clacked on the Seine went and came beneath the windows of the Tuileries. It was a sort of toy called the steamboat. 1817. It was in this year that 4 young gentlemen of Paris played a joke on their sweethearts. One of these young gentlemen was Félix Tholomyès, and his sweetheart was Fantine.
Excuse me, please, lady.
Yes? What is it?
It's something your gentleman left for you.
Well, there's no address. See what's written on it, Fantine. It says, "This is the surprise." What's inside? Just a moment. Sweetheart, at the moment when you read this, 4 mettlesome horses will be bearing us back to our mammas and papas. We are returning to society, to duty, and to order on a full trot at the rate of 3 leagues an hour. Mourn for us rapidly and replace us speedily. Adieu. Signed Blancheville, Famille Listolet, and Félix Tholomyès. P.S. The dinner is paid for.
It was a good joke. The girls laughed. Fantine laughed like the rest. But later she wept bitterly. For Ptolemy was her first love, and the poor girl had a child. This, it will be remembered, was in 1817. At 22 years of age, on a fine spring morning, Fantine left Paris, her child in her arms. She went back to Montreux, where she was born, and she found the little city greatly changed. An unknown man, a stranger, had conceived the idea of substituting gumlac for resin in the manufacture of synthetic jet. This very slight change worked an industrial revolution. In less than 3 years, the inventor of this process had made a fortune for himself and for the whole region. He had built a great factory in which there were 2 workshops, one for men and the other for women.
Yes, what is it?
Are there jobs open in the workshop?
There are always jobs here. Have you a husband?
No, monsieur.
Any dependents?
No.
Name?
Mademoiselle Fantine.
You will commence today. Monsieur Madeleine, the owner, requests only that you be willing and of good morals.
Oh, yes, monsieur.
I'll assign you to your place. Come with me.
So Fantine went to work in the jet factory and kept her secret. For as long as she stayed there, they must never find out about her child. She had left this child in the care of a couple she met on the road to Paris. They were innkeepers, and they were called the Thénardiers. She paid them 57 francs, all that she had, and she trusted them.
A letter for you, mademoiselle.
Thank you. My dear madame, your little Cosette has outworn her wardrobe. It will be impossible for us to keep Cosette with us any longer for less than 12 francs per week, payable in advance. Sincerely, Thénardier.
They had pawned the child's wardrobe. Who were these Thénardiers? The woman was a brute, and the man was a blackguard. But Fantine knew nothing of this, and she sent them the money. The child's clothes being gone, they dressed her in rags. And they fed her on scraps, little better than a dog, and a little worse than the cat. They put her to work. She was made to run errands, to sweep the rooms and the yard and the street. In the village, they called this little child the lark. This tiny being no larger than a bird, trembling, frightened and shivering, awake each morning, first of all in the house and in the village, and always on the street or the fields before dawn. But the poor lark never sang. Fantine took a small room and furnished it on the credit of her future labor. She worked hard, thought of nothing but Cosette, and was almost happy. Not being able to say she was married, she took care not to speak of her child. But the women began to whisper in the workshop, and Fantine was watched. More than a few were jealous of her fine teeth and her golden hair.
Mademoiselle.
Oh, yes, monsieur.
You have been with us in this establishment for over a year. Here are 50 francs.
50 francs?
They are donated by your employer, Monsieur Madeleine. They will cover your expenses. I must ask you to seek employment elsewhere.
Elsewhere? What do you mean?
Mademoiselle, the existence of your child has been revealed to us. Good day, mademoiselle.
Fantine offered herself as a servant, but nobody wanted her. She began to make coarse shirts for the soldiers. For 12 sous, she sewed 17 hours a day, but her creditors gave her no rest. How could she pay? She couldn't. How could she live? She learned. She learned from an old woman who sewed with her, named Marguerite.
We who have grown old in privation can extract much from a sou.
But 15 francs, Marguerite. Think of it. The Thénardiers wrote me. They want 3 more francs a week, and you know what I earn.
You'll learn.
But you can't live on 6 sous a day.
No, my girl. But you can starve on it. It's a science.
Summer passed away, and winter returned. Short days and less work. In winter, there is no heat, no light, no moon. Evening touches morning. The whole day is a cave, and the sun is a pauper.
Madame Fantine, Cosette is sick of an epidemic disease, a military fever. She must have medicine, and drugs are dear. Unless you send us 40 francs within a week, the little one will die. Sincerely, Thénardier.
Bones and unguents, lotions and scents, the secrets of the Orient. Ladies and gentlemen, I offer during my brief stay in this beautiful city the 7 wonders of the world. No wheel is so great but I own its remedy. Heartaches and toothaches, the elixir of life, the powder of love, the pill against pain. If your teeth hurt you, I will pull them out. Would you look beautiful, I will put them in. I have whole sets of teeth complete for your pleasure. Pearly teeth. Teeth for any mouth. Ah, you there. You girl who is laughing there. You have pretty teeth. Tell me your 2 incisors, and I'll give you a gold Napoleon for each of them.
What's that? What are incisors?
Incisors, young lady, are the front teeth in the head. The 2 pretty upper ones.
Oh.
Consider my beauty. 2 gold Napoleons, 40 francs. How much good will they do you? If you've got the courage for it, come this evening to the inn, and you will find me there.
Oh, no.
Hold on, don't run away. Hold on. Come back.
What's happened?
Oh, God help me.
Well, where have you been?
In the square. There was a traveling dentist. He wanted to pull out my 2 front teeth. I should be hideous. I'd rather throw myself from the 5th story head first to the pavement. He told me he'd wait for me at the inn.
What was it he offered you?
2 Napoleons.
That's 40 francs.
Yes, 40 francs.
They shouldn't allow it.
Marguerite, what does it mean? A military fever, you know?
Why, it's a disease.
Does it need many drugs?
Terrible drugs.
How does it come on you?
Comes in a moment.
Does it attack children? Do they die of it? He told me to wait for him at the inn.
The next morning, when the old woman went into Fantine's chamber before daybreak, for they always worked together and so made 1 candle do for 2, she found Fantine sitting there on the couch. She had not been to bed. Her cap had fallen in her lap. The candle had been left to burn, and it was almost gone. The old woman looked at her.
What's happened now?
Cosette won't die of that sickness for lack of drugs. Look there on the table.
2 gold Napoleons. A fortune. Where'd you get them?
I got them.
Then Fantine smiled. The dying candle lit up her face. The corners of her mouth were stained with blood. The 2 teeth were gone.
Madame Fantine, send us 100 francs, or we will put out your child on the highway. 100 francs. Oh, what can I sell for 100 francs? Come. I shall sell what is left.
What is the history of France? It is society buying a slave. From whom? From misery. A soul for a bit of bread. Alas, what are these destinies? Why are they so? He knows that sees all the shadow. He is alone. His name is God. Monsieur Madeleine was well loved in the village. But sometimes, when he passed along the street, calm, affectionate, followed by the benedictions of all, it happened that a tall man, wearing a flat hat and an iron gray coat, and armed with a stout cane, would turn round abruptly and follow him with his eyes until he disappeared. This man was one of the police. His name was Javert. The peasants of Asturias believe that in every litter of wolves there is one dog which is killed by the mother, lest on growing it should devour the others. Give a human face to this dog son of a wolf, and you will have Javert. This man laughed rarely and terribly, and around his nose there was a wrinkle as broad and wild as the muzzle of a fallow deer. Javert was an eye, always fixed upon Madeleine.
The notebook of Inspector Javert, January 9th, 1818. Who is Madeleine? No one knows. Who are his family? What is his history? Where does he come from? No one knows. He is popular for his deeds of charity, which are done secretly as though they were bad deeds. He's been offered the Legion of Honor. He's refused it. Who is that man? I cannot be sure of what I guess, but I know well I have seen him before. April 10th, 1820. Madeleine is in mourning for a certain Bishop of D. I watch him carefully. His speech is more mannerly, and his accent more refined than it was when I first came to the city. He walks strangely, with one foot dragging. He knows I am watching him. August 17th, 1822. The king has appointed Monsieur Madeleine the mayor of this city. Consider, the man came here with only a few hundred francs. He is now a millionaire. This is a sudden rise. I have now learned the circumstances of his arrival into this place. He came here a common laborer, stick in hand and sack on his back one evening in the autumn of 1815. That night, October 23rd, there was a fire in the townhouse, and this man leapt into the flames and saved from burning 2 children of the captain of police. As far as can be ascertained in the excitement and gratitude of the occasion, no one thought to ask him for his passport. There is certainly no record. He announced himself Madeleine, and so he has remained. I have made inquiries in Paris, and there are interesting circumstances relative to October 1815. Madeleine is now my immediate superior. Police routine brings me into contact with this man. He's well loved, but I am not deluded. I am still vigilant. I know that face.
That year, there occurred 2 events on the streets of Montreuil, which, while insignificant in themselves, made a profound impression on the mind of Inspector Javert. The first was a common street accident.
Help! Help! What's the matter? What happened here?
Inspector, can't we do something?
Somebody move this! Searching before it's too late! One moment, monsieur! How did it happen? The old man, the horse slipped, the car turned over on him.
He's bitten under the wheel. It's crushing his ribs.
Get a jack! Has anybody a jack? God help me! God help me! Get a jack! They're gone for one. That wagon is sinking lower every minute. It can't be helped, sir. The wheel is killing me! Citizens! Listen to me.
There is one chance. There's just room enough for one man to crawl in under that wagon. In half a minute, it'll be too late.
Oh!
Citizens, there is no time to lose.
What can you do? What can you do, Inspector?
If a man can get under that wheel, there may be hope for you. If a man can get under that wheel and lift it with his back, we may save you. Is there a man who can do it? Who has strength and courage? 5 louis d'or for the man who will try it. 10 louis d'or. 10 louis d'or.
He must be a terrible man who can raise a wagon like that on his back. My whips are breaking a jack. Anything. Oh!
Let me by! Let me by! Let me by, citizens.
Oh, don't do it.
Come back! You'll be killed!
Stop him, somebody!
Stop him!
Monsieur, it is too late.
Let me by, Inspector.
As you wish, monsieur.
No, go away. Don't come under here. It's too late.
You let the gun!
Go away. Get out when you can. It's sinking. Get out. It's sinking. He's got there himself. They'll both be killed.
Push! Push!
It's lifting. Push.
Push!
Push. Quick, all together!
It's moving!
You're God, monsieur. That's what you are, God.
Monsieur, you are a brave man.
Thank you, Inspector.
In all my life, I have known only one man capable of doing what I have just seen you do. He was a convict in the galleys at Toulon.
Good day, Inspector.
Good day, Monsieur Madeleine.
That was the first incident. The second to impress Inspector Javert of the police took place on an evening in January, 5 months later. It was snowing. A woman, a rueful, bedizened spectre, her shoulders bare in a gaudy ballroom dress, stood waiting in the street before the door of the officers' cafe. A well-dressed idler was amusing himself tormenting this woman.
Well, aren't you the ugly one? Oh, sulking tonight. All right, your haughtiness. Turn your back on me. You'll pay for it. Little snow will be good medicine. Down your shoulder blades like this.
The girl, screaming with rage, turned on him and buried her nails in his face, using the most frightful words that ever fell from the off-scouring of a guardhouse. A large crowd formed about them. The man, hatless, defending himself. The woman, kicking and striking, shrieking, toothless, and without hair, livid with anger and hideous. Suddenly, a tall man advanced quickly from the crowd and seized her by her muddy satin waist. Their tormentor stole away. The woman turned pale with horror. She recognized Javert.
Stop. Go home, all of you. It is not permitted that crowds form on the streets. Gentlemen, disperse. Young woman, I must take you to prison. Come with me.
To prison? Oh, no, monsieur.
What is your name?
Fantine.
I have a good memory. This time it's 6 months.
6 months? 6 months in prison? Oh, no. No, I must earn money. I still owe 100 francs to the Thénardiers.
I must ask you not to cause a disturbance.
Oh, Monsieur Javert, please. I swear to you by the good God, I was not in the wrong. Have they the right to throw snow down our backs? He said you're ugly. You've no teeth. I know I've no teeth, but I didn't do anything.
No? What of his hat in the snow?
Well, I did wrong to spoil his hat, but you can't imprison me for that. I must pay 100 francs or they'll turn out my Cosette. She's such a little one they would put out in the highway in the very heart of winter. If she were older, she could earn a living, but she's not yet sick.
Come along. I've heard your story. You have 6 months.
Oh, mercy, no!
Up, you fool! Do I have to drag you?
One moment, if you please. Let me help you.
Citizen, I warn you, don't obstruct the course of justice.
There, mademoiselle. You'll be all right.
This is insolent. Who are you?
My name is Madeleine.
The mayor. Your pardon, monsieur. I didn't recognize you in the shadow.
The mayor? Madeleine? Is this the famous Madeleine?
Take care, woman.
Monsieur Javert. Think of it. He's the cause of it all. He turned me away from his factory on account of some stories they told about me in the workshop. Stories about me, lies. You see how it happens? He did this to me.
I'm sorry, monsieur. This will add to her sentence.
That's all right, Inspector. Set the woman at liberty.
What did you say, monsieur?
Set the woman at liberty.
At liberty? What? You mean I can go? I'm free? I don't understand. Who said that? It wasn't the mayor. It couldn't be. Was it you, Monsieur Javert? You forgiven me? I did stamp on the gentleman's hat, but he spoiled my whole dress in the snow. We women, we have only one dress for the evening.
Mademoiselle, how much did you say that you owed?
I said nothing to you. You came here to scare me. I'm not scared of you. I'm scared of Javert. Only tonight it hurt me. I'm not very well. I cough. There's something in my chest that burns. Stop. Here, give me a hand. Now, don't be afraid to feel how hot it is.
Let's go, woman. You're drunk.
Officers! The inspector said you must release me. I'm going.
Sergeant, detain this woman. Who told you to let her go?
I did, Inspector.
Your Honor, that cannot be done.
And why not?
This woman has insulted a citizen.
I have learned the circumstances. It was the citizen who did wrong.
She has also insulted the mayor.
I can do what I please about that.
Your pardon, monsieur, but you cannot. The insult does not rest with you. It rests with justice.
Inspector, the highest justice is conscience. I have heard this woman. Content yourself with obeying.
I obey my duty, monsieur. I am sorry to resist
the matter
mayor.
you speak of belongs to the municipal police.
But, monsieur...
I refer you to Article 81 of the law of December 19th, 1799, on the subject of legal imprisonment.
You're well acquainted with the criminal code, monsieur, but if you will permit...
You may go, Inspector.
However, monsieur...
You may go, Inspector.
Yes, monsieur. Sergeant.
Come, mademoiselle. It is cold.
I don't understand. Monsieur Javert has gone.
Yes. Yes, he's gone. Don't be frightened. I'm sorry. I didn't know all your story. I never knew you'd left my workshop. I'll make it up to you now.
Make it up to me?
Yes, Fantine. And don't cry. I'll take care of your debts.
My daughter. My Cosette.
You shall go to her, and she shall come to live with you.
You mean that, Monsieur Madeleine? You swear it?
On my word of honor.
Oh, monsieur. I am not a bad woman.
Listen to me, Fantine. If all you say is true, and I do not doubt it, you have never ceased to be virtuous and holy before God. That same night, Javert wrote a letter
to the Prefect of Police, Paris. Monsieur, I wish to report that a certain face has always been familiar to me. Tonight, I placed it. I have further conclusive evidence. Monsieur Madeleine, the mayor of Montreuil, is wanted by the police for robbery. He is a second offender, being an ex-convict. He is the old galley slave, Jean Valjean. Signed by the Inspector of Police, Javert.
WOR and the Mutual Network have presented Part 2 of Victor Hugo's compelling novel, Les Misérables, the episode which introduced Javert. Orson Welles played the role of Jean Valjean and also read the narrative passages of the presentation which he has created especially for radio. Assisting Mr. Welles tonight were Martin Gable as Javert, Agnes Moorehead, Ray Collins, Betty Gard, Hiram Sherman, Alice Frost, and others. Next Friday evening at 10 o'clock, Eastern Daylight Saving Time, we shall present Les Misérables in its third phase, the episode which portrays the death of Fantine and the capture of Jean Valjean. This is the coast-to-coast network of the Mutual Broadcasting System.
The next drama, episode 3 out of his 7, is named The Trial, starring Alice Frost, Adelaide Klein, Hiram Sherman, William Johnstone, Orson Welles, Martin Gabe, and Ray Collins. It aired August 6, 1937.
So long as these problems are not solved, so long as ignorance and poverty remain on earth, these words cannot be useless.
WOR and the Mutual Network present the third of 7 broadcasts based on Victor Hugo's compelling novel, Les Misérables. Orson Welles, distinguished young author, actor, and director, plays the role of Jean Valjean in this presentation, which he has adapted especially for radio. And Mr. Welles is also heard as he reads from the book itself. Each episode pictures a development in the progress of Valjean, and last week introduced Fantine and Javert. Les Misérables, Part 3, the episode which is called The Trial.
I gave you the candlesticks that you stole from me. I have purchased your soul. I withdraw it from the spirit of perversity, and I give it to Almighty God.
So spoke the Bishop of D to a thief and a galley slave named Jean Valjean. And from the moment he left him, Jean Valjean was another man. He was Monsieur Madeleine. In time, he was the mayor of Montreux. He had sold the bishop's silver, keeping only the candlesticks. And with this money, he made more. He was established in Montreux, the owner of a great factory and a public official, a quiet, hopeful man, having but 2 thoughts: to conceal his name and to sanctify his life, to escape from men and to return to God. But a shadow had fallen across the destiny of Jean Valjean. The shadow of a man in a flat hat and a long coat, a man carrying a stick. Javert.
Monsieur Madeleine.
Yes?
Inspector Javert of the police.
Let him come in.
Yes, monsieur. This way, Inspector.
Monsieur Madeleine.
Good morning, Javert. Well, what's the matter?
Your Honor, I wish to report a criminal act.
Yes, Inspector.
An inferior agent of the government has been lacking in respect to a magistrate. It's my duty to bring the fact to your knowledge.
Who is this agent?
I, monsieur.
You, Inspector?
I.
And who is the magistrate who has to complain of this agent?
You, monsieur. I came to ask you to be so kind as to discharge me.
Javert, this is absurd.
You will say that I might tender my resignation, but to resign is honorable. I must be discharged.
Javert, what's all this nonsense?
Your Honor, I have denounced you.
You have denounced me?
Yes, Your Honor, to the Prefecture of Police.
What for, Javert? As a mayor encroaching upon the constabulary?
No, monsieur. As an ex-convict.
Yes, Javert.
For a long time, I suspected you. The resemblance, your immense strength, your skill as a marksman. It's strange, monsieur, but everything points to one fact, that you're a man named Jean Valjean.
What name did you say?
Jean Valjean. An old convict I saw 20 years ago when I was a galley guard at Toulon. For 8 years, his whereabouts have been unknown. Your Honor, I fancied... Well, I've done this thing. Anger determined me, and I denounced you to the prefect.
And what answer did you get?
That I was mad.
Well?
They were right.
Javert, I'm very lucky that you think so.
Yes, Your Honor, it must be so. They've found Jean Valjean.
What?
They've caught him, Your Honor. He's safe in prison.
What do you mean, Javert? Who have they caught?
Jean Valjean, Your Honor. But of course you wouldn't know.
Yes, of course. How do they know he's Jean Valjean?
Very simple, Your Honor. He looks like him. Besides, he was recognized by an old galley slave in the jail.
How did they catch him?
Stealing apples, Your Honor. He called himself Champmathieu. He'd been a pruner and he'd lived at Faverolles. Now, what was Jean Valjean? A pruner. Where? At Faverolles. It's very simple, Your Honor. The same age, the same height. When I wrote to the justice, he sent for me and brought me before the man Champmathieu.
Well?
Your Honor, truth is truth. I'm sorry for it, but that man is Jean Valjean.
Are you sure of it?
Yes, monsieur, I'm sure. And now that I see the real Jean Valjean, Your Honor, I don't see how I could ever have believed anything else. I beg your pardon.
What did this man say to you?
No, he's a sly one, this Valjean. That's where I recognize him. He pretends not to understand. He puts on astonishment and plays innocent. But there's evidence. He'll be condemned.
Where is he now?
At the assizes at Arras. I've been summoned to testify.
What's the charge?
Stealing apples, Your Honor. Second offense. It's the galleys for life.
When's the trial?
Tomorrow.
When do you leave?
Tonight. As soon as I've given my testimony, I shall return.
How long will the trial last?
A day at the longest, Your Honor.
I see.
Your pardon, monsieur.
Yes?
I must be discharged.
Javert, you're a man of honor. You may keep your place.
You can't do that. You can't do that to me.
Javert, this is a matter which concerns me alone.
You can't do it. You're a mayor and a magistrate. You've got to discharge me. I belong to the police. You're respectable. You own property, and I denounced you. Don't you know what that means?
You exaggerate your fault, Inspector. I forgive you.
You've no right to. I don't want your forgiveness. Your forgiveness, your charity, your kindness. I hate your kindness. The kindness that defends a woman of the town against a citizen, an inferior against a superior, a police agent against the mayor. I hate that kindness. It's easy to be kind. It's hard to be just. If you'd been what I thought you were, I wouldn't have been kind to you, not I, Your Honor. I've said to myself, Javert, you're a hard man, but if you ever trip, look out. Well, I've tripped. I would have broken another man. I must be broken, stripped of my uniform, driven off, disgraced. You've got to do that to me. That's what's right. I demand my discharge.
Well, Javert, let me think about it. After all, you may not be as wrong as you think. Give me your hand.
Pardon, monsieur. That must not be. The mayor doesn't give his hand to a spy. Your Honor, I will continue in the service until I'm relieved.
Now, Jean Valjean, called Madeleine, had forgotten a promise. There was a young girl, Fantine. She was sick, and the good mayor had taken her from the streets and given her to the care of an old nun in his hospital. Here Fantine lay dying, her only joy, the hope of seeing her child, her little daughter, whom she'd boarded with some innkeepers in another town. Monsieur Madeleine had promised to bring her child to her.
Monsieur Madeleine. Monsieur Madeleine. Why don't you answer?
There, Fantine, my child. Lie back.
Oh, sister, I must have been asleep. Where is he? Where's Monsieur Madeleine?
The portress told me he could not come today.
Oh, no. But he always comes. Always. Every day he comes here to the hospital to see me.
Mademoiselle Fantine, be calm. You must lie down again.
Why can't he come, sister?
My child, the mayor has gone away.
Gone away? Gone away?
Yes.
I know. He's gone for Cosette. I'm going to see her again. Remember, sister, what he said to me yesterday? Very, very soon, he said.
Yes, my child.
Oh, I am so happy. Why, I feel all well. No pain at all. I'm going to see my child again.
Yes, but you mustn't talk anymore.
It's been 5 years since I've seen her. I had to leave her with the innkeepers on the road when she was little. That was all I could do, sister. Because people talk, and I needed a job to support us. Then there was no work, and I had to do anything to pay for her board.
I know.
That's how I got in my trouble. But Monsieur Madeleine was good to me. He saved me from jail. He's the mayor, and he can do that. And he saved me from that wicked policeman, Javert. And he's taking care of me in my sickness. And now he's gone to get Cosette from the innkeepers. And he'll bring her to me.
I'm sure he will.
And when Cosette comes, can she lie by my side in the little bed? You'll let her do that, won't you?
Yes, my child. Good night.
Then when she wakes, I can say good morning to her. And at night, when I'm awake, I can hear her sleep. Her little breathing is so sweet.
Good night, my child.
Good night, sister. Look, there's just room.
There is one spectacle grander than the sea. That is the sky. There is one spectacle grander than the sky. That is the soul. Let us look into a soul. The soul of Jean Valjean, called Madeleine, the mayor of Montreux.
Jean Valjean, I gave you the candlesticks that you stole from me. I have purchased your soul. I withdraw it from perversity, and I give it to Almighty God.
I was wrong about you. They've got Jean Valjean. They're trying him tomorrow. It's the galleys for life. They've got Jean Valjean.
Even while listening to the words of Javert, the first impulse of Jean Valjean was to drag this poor man out of prison and put himself in his place. An impulse as painful and sharp as an incision in the living flesh. But this impulse passed away.
Well, what am I afraid of? This Javert who's troubled me? That fearful instinct which follows me, that terrible bloodhound, is baffled. He's satisfied. He'll leave me in quiet. He holds his Jean Valjean fast, and I have nothing to do with it. Why interfere? It doesn't concern me. I've brought happiness to this place. I've done some good. It is God's will that I do more.
One can no more prevent the mind from returning to an idea than one can prevent the sea from coming to the shore. In the case of the sailor, this is called the tide. In the case of the guilty, this is called remorse. Fantine, remember Fantine? That poor lonely woman who longs for her child. What of her? I have promised this mother her child. Who'll keep the promise? Well, this man goes to the galleys. What of it? He's stolen. Why say he hasn't stolen? He's stolen. And for me, I remain here. I go on. And this mother brings up her child, and the whole country is rich and happy and honest. I am Madeleine. Woe to him who is Valjean. I do not recognize the man.
Jean Valjean. Jean Valjean. Behold yourself, Jean Valjean, an honored man, the mayor of the city, the rich man who feeds the poor, the happy man who is admired. Jean Valjean, there shall be a man wearing your red blouse and bearing your name and dragging your chain in the galleys.
So struggled this unhappy soul. So struggled 1,800 years before him another. He also, while the olive trees were shivering in the fierce breath of the infinite, long put away the fearful chalice, dripping with shadow and running over with darkness in the star-filled depths.
Who is it?
I, Monsieur Madeleine.
Well, what is it?
Monsieur Madeleine, it is just 5 o'clock.
What's that to me?
It's the cart, Monsieur.
What cart?
Did not Monsieur order a horse and cart?
No.
The driver says he has come for you. Monsieur Madeleine. Monsieur Madeleine, what shall I say?
Say it's all right.
Say I'm coming. At daybreak, Jean Valjean was in the open country. The roads were bad from Montreux to Arras. When he got to the courthouse, it was night.
Monsieur Madeleine!
Yes?
Oh, Your Honor, you should have told me straight off that you're the mayor of Montreux. A place has been made for you on the bench, Your Honor. The judge begs you to enter.
Thank you.
Not at all, Your Honor. You've only to turn the brass knob of that door, and you'll find yourself in the courtroom. Good evening, monsieur.
Jean Valjean was alone. He stared at the door to the courtroom. He drew breath and listened. There was no sound. He waited there, listening. The same silence. He leaned against the wall. The stone was cold. He closed his eyes.
Jean Valjean, there shall be a man bearing your name and dragging your chain in the galleys.
He opened his eyes. The first thing he saw was the handle of that door. The door to the courtroom. That round, polished brass handle. It shone there before him like a star. Then, suddenly, he was in the courtroom.
Monsieur Madeleine?
Yes, Excellency. That's my name.
Your note was sent in to me, monsieur. Permit me to say that your presence in this court is an unexpected compliment.
Thank you.
I have not had the pleasure of your honor's acquaintance, but we all know, by reputation at least, Monsieur Madeleine, the distinguished mayor of Montreux. Will you sit here, Monsieur Madeleine? We will resume the trial of Jean Valjean.
He did not need to look for him. He saw him. This was the man. He thought he saw himself, older, but just as he'd looked, everything as it was 8 years before, early in October 1815, when he left the galleys and entered the little town of D. He thought he saw his trial played by his shadow. Judges, clerks, gendarmes, a throng of heads. He'd seen all this before, 27 years before, when Jean Valjean was tried by law for stealing a loaf of bread.
We will resume the trial of Jean Valjean. Monsieur Madeleine, the prisoner is accused of stealing ripe apples.
Your Excellency, the judge. Your Honor, Monsieur Madeleine. Gentlemen of the jury, who is this man? Gentlemen, we have here no petty fruit thief, no mere trespasser. We have here an outlaw, a murderous galley slave. We have here Jean Valjean. This man is accused of one crime for which he is on trial, but he is wanted for another. Highway robbery, committed for the gain of 1 penny from a small boy encountered in the fields outside of D. Convict him for the new crime, and he shall be tried again for the first.
Prisoner, on your own behalf, have you anything to say?
No, Excellency. No, I didn't do it, that's all. I never stole anything. I'm a man who doesn't get something to eat every day. I picked off the ground things that were there. That's all I did.
You see, Monsieur Madeleine, there's no question of the identity. This man is obviously Jean Valjean.
Has the prisoner no witnesses? May I question him?
Oh, certainly, monsieur.
Thank you. Monsieur Champmathieu, how long have you been a pruner?
His Honor is speaking to you, prisoner. Reply to him.
I don't know, monsieur. I've been a pruner for a long time. Before that, I was a wheelwright. Yes, I was a wheelwright in Paris. I earned 30 sous a day. Look here. I'm telling the truth. You have only to ask if it isn't so. Ask how stupid I am. Ask anybody. Ask. I don't know what you want of me.
Your Excellency, I beg leave to call out at this time 3 witnesses. Brevet, Cheneldieu, Cochepaille. They are convicts. They have been in the galleys with the accused.
Permission granted. Call the first witness.
Convict Brevet.
Convict Brevet! Yes, sir. Come forward. Convict Brevet, you have suffered infamous punishment and cannot take the oath. Prisoner Champetier, rise.
Rise, prisoner.
Brevet, look upon the prisoner. Say on your soul and conscience whether you still recognize this man as your former fellow convict, Jean Valjean.
Your Excellency, I remember him.
Sit down, Brevet. Prisoner remains standing.
Call out the galley slave, Cheneldieu.
Convict Cheneldieu.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Think carefully. Do you recognize this man?
Recognize him? We were on the same chain together. What's wrong, Jack? Don't you remember me?
Sit down, prisoner.
Convict Cochepaille.
Do you identify the man before you?
That's 24601. Jean Valjean, his name was.
Champetier, you have heard the testimony of these witnesses. Have you anything to say?
I say they're liars.
Officers, enforce order. I am about to pronounce sentence on this man.
One moment.
Order.
Your Excellency.
Order.
Your Excellency, may I be permitted a few words on behalf of the accused? I'd like to tell you about Jean Valjean.
Monsieur Madeleine, you're a man of high office. I must grant your request.
Excellency, they were right when they told you that Jean Valjean was an outlaw. It's true he was a galley slave. The convicts are right. 19 years he was chained between Cochepaille and old Cheneldieu. 19 long years. It's true he was a criminal. The pennies were stolen and the loaf of bread. And the bishop was robbed. But mark you, gentlemen, the galleys make the galley slave. Before the galleys, this man was a poor peasant, an idiot. He was changed in the galleys. He was stupid. He was made wicked. He was a log. He became a firebrand. He was saved later by indulgence and kindness as he was lost by severity. You won't understand this. There are some things which cannot be told. I cannot relate to you the story of Jean Valjean's life. Someday you will know it. He's done what he could. He's disguised himself under another name. He has desired to enter again among honest men. It seems this cannot be. Gentlemen, your prisoner is not he who is on trial before you. Release this man. He is innocent. What is done at this moment, God beholds from on high. This man is no convict, no outlaw, no thief. Gentlemen, I am Jean Valjean.
Monsieur Madeleine is not well, officer. See his honor to my chamber.
You don't believe me? Brevet, Cheneldieu, Cochepaille, look at me. Do you recognize me? Do you know who I am? Brevet, answer me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hello, 23709. Cheneldieu, number 21808. Your left shoulder still scarred from a burn. Answer me, is that true?
Yes, monsieur, it's true.
Cochepaille, number 24302. There's a date in blue letters on your left arm. March 1st, 1815. Lift up your sleeve.
March 1st, 1815.
Gentlemen, you see clearly. I am Jean Valjean. You may arrest me when you choose. Good night, gentlemen.
Official order, delivered under seal. Inspector Javert will seize the body of Monsieur Madeleine, the mayor of Montreux, who has this day been identified in court as the discharged convict and criminal, Jean Valjean.
Quick, sister, let me in.
Your hair, monsieur, it is all white.
Fantine, can I see her?
Oh, have you brought back her child? Oh, monsieur, she is
I
asleep.
must see her tonight now. There's no time.
Monsieur Madeleine.
Oh, you have awakened her.
My dear little Fantine.
I knew you were there. I was asleep, but I saw you. I followed you with my eyes the whole night. Tell me, where is my Cosette? You said I might have her in the little bed beside me.
Not yet, my child. You still have some fever. We must cure you first.
But I'm cured. Let me see my Cosette. Isn't it natural I should want to see my child when you've been to all that trouble to get her? If you'll bring her in to see me now, I'll speak very gently.
It is better to wait, Fantine.
Oh, monsieur, only tell me, how is she? She may not know me. Children have no memories. They're like birds. You must be cold, Monsieur Madeleine, after that trip in the carriage. Oh, could they not bring her here for one...
Cosette is well. Cosette is beautiful. You'll see her soon. But be quiet. Do you hear me, Fantine? What's wrong with you, child?
Monsieur, he has come for me. The policeman.
Fantine, what are you looking at?
Inspector Javert.
Well, Jean Valjean? I know what he wants, child. It's not for you that he comes.
Come on, Jean Valjean.
Monsieur Madeleine. Monsieur Madeleine, save me.
There's no Madeleine here. There is Jean Valjean.
One moment, Javert.
Call me Inspector.
Inspector, I'd like a word with you in private.
Speak aloud. People speak aloud to me.
Monsieur Madeleine.
It's a request I have to make to you.
Speak aloud, I tell you.
Inspector, this is not to be heard by anyone but yourself.
What's that to me?
My Cosette. Cosette. I'll never see her.
Listen to me. You've got to. You're human. Give me just 3 days. 3 days to go for the child of this woman.
You're clever, Jean Valjean. I'll say that for you. You asked me for 3 days to get away, and you tell me you're going for a child.
Going for a child? My child? Cosette? Then she's not here. Monsieur Madeleine, where is Cosette? I want my child. My Cosette. Monsieur Madeleine!
Hold your tongue, hussy.
I want my child.
Miserable country where galley slaves are magistrates and women of the town are nursed like countesses. All this will be changed.
Monsieur Madeleine!
I tell you there is no Madeleine. There is a robber. There is a brigand. There is a convict. There is Jean Valjean. And I've got him.
Don't be afraid, little Fantine. 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 Fantine! What's wrong with her, sister?
Requiem aeternam dona eis.
Come on. Come on.
What's wrong with her?
Can't you see the woman is dead?
I am at your disposal.
Requiem aeternam dona eis domine et...
Tonight, WOR and the Mutual Network have brought you Part 3 of Victor Hugo's absorbing masterpiece, Les Misérables, the episode which pictured the death of Fantine and the capture of the supposed Jean Valjean. Orson Welles played the roles of both the real and the supposed Valjean, and was also heard reading the narrative passages of this presentation, which he has made especially for radio. Assisting Mr. Welles were Martin Gable as Javert, Alice Frost as Fantine, Ray Collins, Adelaide Klein, William Johnstone, and Hiram Sherman. The orchestra was under the direction of Milton Catums, who arranged the score. Next Friday evening at 10 o'clock, we shall present Les Misérables in its 4th chapter, the episode which is called Cosette. This is the Coast to Coast network of the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Thank you for listening. The next post will include episodes 4, Cosette, which I probably said wrong, and 5, The Grave. Whatever podcast service you use, it would be greatly appreciated if you subscribed, and if you want, write a 1 or 2 sentence review. It's 100% free to subscribe, and it would really help me a lot to one day draw advertisers to help cover some of the cost. In addition, if you like what I'm doing, any donations are also welcome. You can donate on the website otr.duane.media, and click the donate button. The name of that button may change. All donations are welcome, from $1 to $1 million. Haha, that's a joke, of course. There is also info for donation levels that offer free content. More info is on the website, otr.dwayne.media. Now, the website is under construction, so one or two of these features may not be posted by the time you actually look at the website. But the donate and donation levels, if it's not currently on the website now, it will be there very soon. As always, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, stay safe and wish you well. Peace.